What's up, everybody? Stefan Martinez here. Nick and Barrel will be joining us shortly, but I figured I started out and I'll let you guys know that we're sorry that we took a couple of days off. We're glad to be back. I'm sure Nick will enter those sentiments when he joins the chat, but um, we're gonna talk, NBA today. We're gonna talk NHL. We're gonna talk about the NBA trade deadline. I'm sure Big Dog has some notes on his Islanders. Um, big day around sports. A lot of different things going on, but I would be remiss if I didn't open the show by talking about the death of former Georgetown head coach John Thompson. He was a giant in the college basketball world. He, won one national championship in 1982. He was instrumental in players like Patrick Ewing and Alonzo Mourning and Allen Iverson and all these, players that we know today going to the NBA, going to the professional league and making a career for themselves. But he also fought against things that would, be detrimental to the students, be detrimental to his kids, be detrimental to the University of Georgetown. So I would be, the basketball world is aching today. The college basketball world, the NBA family, and just basketball fans in general. If you know anything about the Georgetown Hoyas, today is not a day to be a Georgetown fan. This one kind of caught us by surprise. Although he was sick, there was reports out there that he wasn't in the best of health. But basketball in general lost a giant today with the loss of John Thompson. And, he's famous. You see him on the sidelines with the towel and, fighting for his plays and talking to the referees. And that was him. He was infamous for that. So RIP Coach Thompson, and, prayers and thoughts and prayers out to his family and everybody affected by his death. He was 78 years of age. Now on to the show today. We're gonna do top 5 trade deadline acquisitions of all time. Again, these lists are very subjective. There's no such thing as the perfect list. So if your list doesn't match up with ours, that's completely fine. But I figured we'd start today by talking about, what went down in baseball and how these deals we saw kind of pair in comparison to what we thought we were going to see just a week ago or maybe even 10 days ago, when you thought, nah, they're not going to make any moves. And, these teams are pretty much set. They're going to keep doing what they do. And it's a short season, so everybody feels like they're in it. So we're not really going to trade too much, but we're wrong. We had 17 deals today, and I guess the two big ones that you could say were really, really big trades was the trade of Mike Clevenger to the San Diego Padres, which we had started getting wind of last night, that the Padres were in on Clevenger, and then, we were going to – that the Padres, they were getting upped, and there was an offer by a mystery team, so to speak. So then, the Padres ultimately upped their offer, and they got it done for 9 prospects. 7 prospects went back to the Indians. And what I'll say is this felt like a volume trade. This didn't feel like something that, you were looking to get back tons of talent. Now, we also have to keep in mind that the Clevenger deal was made because of, him staying out late in Chicago, him and Zach Plesac breaking curfew. So this trade was made exclusively because, the Indians felt like that Clevenger and Plesac lied to them in regards to going out in Chicago almost 3 weeks ago now. So the Indians did what's best for them. They traded Mike Clevenger to the San Diego Padres. Wow, the San Diego Padres are loaded. You want to talk about trade-a-palooza. Somebody check AJ Preller's fingers and let me know if they're still functioning. Because man, oh man, he was sending out text after text, and you saw tweets that they're in on this one, and they got the two catches in Jason Castro and Jason Castro and I forgot the other catcher's name in Seattle. They got two catchers, but it's just amazing how San Diego basically remade their whole team in less than 48 hours. They got Trevor Rosenthal on Saturday from the Royals. I mean, you got to give AJ Preller for going for it. I mean, you got perhaps the best starting pitcher on the market this year in Clevenger, and then you get the best reliever on the market this year in Rosenthal. So AJ Preller was super aggressive. The Padres are trying to make the playoffs for the first time in 2006. So you sense the desperation from San Diego side. The Marlins acquiring Starling Marte kind of felt like, okay, it's time to go for it. We got good pitching prospects in Sixto Sanchez and Sandy Alcantara and, Jordan Yamamoto. And they have plenty of pitching talent. Now, that's why I thought it was smart for them. Listen, to be honest, AJ, I didn't think they were going to do much today. I didn't think that they were going to do much. I had heard whispers that, they were in on Lance a little bit. They were in on Clevenger a little bit. But to be honest with you, if they're able to get back healthy, I think, I understand why Cashman didn't make the moves. And to be honest with you, I know fans don't want to hear this, but their payroll situation probably necessitated that they didn't do anything, but that's why you have to see the emergence of a Clark Schmidt, of a Davy Garcia who pitched yesterday and looked really good, of a guy like Michael King. Jordan Montgomery needs to continue to pitch well. So they didn't surprise me from the standpoint that Brian Cashman already knows what he has in the system, and he probably felt more comfortable being not frugal, but cost effective. Being cost effective and say, listen, I really don't believe that we have to make this move. I think if we get healthy, we get everybody right, and we get, Davy Garcia with innings under his belt. We get, Michael King with innings under his belt, and Clark Schmidt with innings under his belt. You got to let these young kids pitch, because at some point you can't be talking about potential and then we don't see what the potential is. So listen, you get Zach Britton back healthy, you get Glaber back healthy. Gary Sanchez had a big grand slam yesterday. So if you're the Yankees, man, it's just one game at a time. But the teams I mentioned, like the Padres, the Marlins, the Reds, these are teams that had not made the playoffs in a while. And you got to give the Reds credit, adding Brian Goodwin from the Angels, the left fielder, and then going out and getting Archie Bradley from the Diamondbacks, which, the Yankees had talked about Archie Bradley and Robbie Ray in some sort of combo, or Archie Bradley and Starling Marte, who was in Miami. So if you're the Cincinnati Reds, you're clearly going for it. I know they talked about trading Trevor Bauer at some point, in the last few weeks, but I never thought that was a wise decision. With the pitching they have, you have Trevor Bauer, you have Sonny Gray, you have Diego Castillo, you have Anthony DeSclafani. They're loaded with pitching, and now you give them another arm to put in the back of the bullpen with Michael Lorenzen and their closer. And now we're in a situation where the Cincinnati Reds can actually wreck somebody's postseason party, because you look at the Cincinnati Reds and the lineup is very good. They just haven't hit. If that lineup hits with guys like Nicholas Castellanos, you get something from Joey Votto. He continues to produce. Eugenio Suarez, the third baseman, hasn't really produced all that well. So if you get something from that lineup and you get them rolling on a consistent basis, the Cincinnati Reds, they were my pick at the beginning of the year to win the World Series. So I don't think that them trading for Archie Bradley was all that surprising, although you kind of thought maybe the Yankees would make a move or maybe Philadelphia because they needed some bullpen help. But um, listen, I like what I saw today from the teams that are going for it. I would have loved to see the White Sox make a move, but they didn't. And James's Toronto Blue Jays made a couple interesting moves today, acquiring acquiring a few. They actually acquired Ross Stripling from the Dodgers. They made um they made a couple moves today, other moves as well. So the Blue Jays, they're very interesting. Hold on one sec as I go through the Twitter feed 1 second to see what their deal was. But they made two very interesting moves. Yeah, Ross Stripling was one of them from the Dodgers. Um, and we're gonna get to the Mets and stuff too in a second because I'm very interested to see what Met fans um what Met fans feel about, you know, what they did and how it's going to help them moving forward. Jonathan Villar was the other move that the Blue Jays made today. He was in the mix for a while from the Marlins, and they got him done. Um, and they also got Robbie Ray. So the Blue Jays in just today alone add Robbie Ray, Jonathan Villar, and Ross Stripling to go along with Taijuan Walker, Daniel Vogelback. They've done some really nice moving and shaking to put some pitching around that lineup, which is going to be. I hate when the Mets make these non moves like they let play going and I I hear you, man. I hear you. I think it's just a function of the organization, unfortunately, Big AJ. I think if you're asking me what I think it is, I think it's the fact that the organization they always go back to what's comfortable. Like Todd Frazier, you know him, it's a comfortable fit. Former Brody client, it makes sense, comfortable. Um, the Miguel Castro part of the trade with the Orioles, I wasn't expecting that. That was interesting from the standpoint that he's a big arm. He throws about 97, 98 with nasty slider, and his sinker can be good at times. He's devastating. But the problem is with him, he gets hit a lot. And when you get hit as much as he gets hit, it's almost like Edwin Diaz 2.0, which is why I understand he throws hard. And listen, the Mets didn't give up much for him. But it's just an interesting deal when you see how his stuff plays. He plays like an Edwin Diaz type, throws very hard, but just sometimes when it comes to getting the big out, he struggles with it. So I want to see how the Mets bullpen, how they position this bullpen, how they position things moving forward in terms of okay, do you make Castro your 6, 7 inning fireman guy, or does he slide down to the eighth and possibly ninth inning? That's the thing that's interesting about all this. And look, you gotta give Brody credit for trying. As Nick joins the stream,
What's up, everybody? Sorry I'm a little late.
all good, all good. Listen, you gotta give Brody. We're just talking about the trade deadline and everything that
Okay.
went into it today.
Lot going on.
Yeah, it was madness. I was typing from about 8 in the morning to about 4:15, 4:20. So I am beyond beat. But one of my favorite days of the year though, man. You get ill adrenaline rush and it was great. But I was just saying that the Mets moves, as AJ commented, um, the Mets moves kind of baffled me. I can't lie. I was kind of like, okay, this is interesting. I mean, the Miguel Castro move from the Orioles kind of feels like very Edwin Diaz-esque, like very hard throwing, but gets hit a lot. And I've seen a lot of Castro because he was in the American League East. He was in the Orioles. The guy's stuff is dynamic. It's borderline filthy, but he gets hit way too much. And I'm like, kind of didn't think you needed that, but all right.
Right.
The Frazier thing is interesting because he's a good clubhouse guy, and Tom's River
Potty boy, yep.
New Jersey guy hit the home run that sent me and you to almost like seizure level of craziness at the Met game we went to. So we get it. We get it. We get why they did what they did. And to be honest with you, this was Brody saving his job. This is what this reeks of. This reeks of, let me try and make a move to save my job because I know, this isn't gonna end well if I don't fix this shite. But he fixed it, or he's trying to fix it. The problem is, I don't see where these moves make them all that much better. Like if you would have got Robinson Chirinos at the start of the year, I would have said, okay, veteran catcher, defensive minded, got a little pop. We all gooch. We all gooch. I just don't understand these moves now. That's my problem.
And I don't necessarily think this is going to propel them, into a playoff spot. Now they're still not out of it technically.
No.
There's still 30 or 29 games left. About
27, 26 maybe. But look at what the Marlins did today. Okay, you traded Jonathan Villar, the second baseman, to the Blue Jays, which I was just talking about. No, I agree. I reported that he's probably going to get canned at the end of the regular season.
Absolutely.
To go. But this is the thing that shocks me, right? The Miami Marlins are going for it. The lowly Miami Marlins traded for Starling Marte, and the Mets are sitting here trading for Old Man River Todd Frazier, Miguel Castro, and Robinson Chirinos. And I'm saying, good God. I mean, did you not think, and we're getting to your Blue Jays in a sec there. I just touched on them
What's
briefly.
up, James?
Don't worry, Blue Jay boy. We're coming. Yeah, I'm like, are you kidding me with this? The Miami Marlins made a bigger deal than you. They got the best bat at the deadline. And I'm like, I get it. No ownership. You don't want to make no crazy day. I get it. I'm not mad at it, but it's just like, let's do something for the sake of doing something when it doesn't really need to be done.
And it's just crazy how the Mets, it was so euphoric on Friday to sweep the Yankees at Yankee Stadium in that doubleheader.
But that's what they see. That's what's wrong with you guys. It's euphoric to win 2 games on a frigging Friday. Okay.
And Cohen being named officially as the bidder to buy the Mets. So it was all going well, and then
everybody gets happy. And
it went down.
And then you know what?
From there.
The Mets being typical Mets. What does Dellin do? Wild pitch Saturday. Diaz coughs it up yesterday.
Lose 3 games to a bad Yankee team with injury
are, and I'm going to say this because this is my team. There needs to be an emblem health sign in the training room. Somebody needs to get these boys some stimulus, some Gatorade, something, because all these calf pulls and muscle pulls, and can we get somebody some Ben Gay? Can you rub some friggin' biofreeze on the calves? Can we do this, Sam? And here's another thing. If you didn't think Gary Sanchez needed that home run last night, the home run he hit, it was almost like there is a God. He did something with himself. I almost was like a proud parent just watching him going, thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord. He's doing something with himself. But you as a Met fan have to be incredibly frustrated.
Yeah, of course.
It's gone. And it sucks because at the start of it, I looked at them and I said, oh, 60 games, pitching staff, lineup's not too bad. You make a couple of additions at the deadline, and then we're
Yeah,
having a different conversation. And then Stroman opts out. This one doesn't want to play. Cespedes goes AWOL. They're putting out
he got hurt, although that happened way before this, but still, no.
DeGrom looks human for the first time in like ever.
This Met team doesn't have it. They don't have it.
That's because they're not built correctly, and I've said that to you from the jump. The roster's not constructed properly. But on to James's Blue Jays, and then we're going to touch on the Mike Clevenger thing in a second again, and then we'll move on. But yeah, James's Blue Jays. Oh my God, they remade the whole rotation in like 2 days. Oh, let's go get Taijuan Walker from Seattle. Good move. Big arm. Hopefully he stays healthy. Fingers crossed he gets something from him. Ross Stripling from the Dodgers. They got VR to go up the middle. Solid veteran infielder who the Mets should have gotten, last year, but I digress. And that lineup is just, you'll be here 90 years talking about that lineup. From Vladdy to Biggio to Teoscar Hernandez to Bo Bichette when he gets back. I'm like, kid me? I'm gonna have nightmares with them in the Rays for the next at least 6 years. But I'll say this. Two people got to get the proverbial oop of the day. And the two teams that I gotta give the oop of the day to are very simple. The Texas Rangers, you deserve the biggest oop of the day. You know why you deserve that? Because Lance Lynn, the fact that he is not wearing another uniform and you did not capitalize on his season right now, you need to be somebody in your drug front office needs to be drug tested. I mean, I'm talking about immediately. The fact that Lance Lynn is still on your team and you guys are as repugnant as you are, I need somebody help them, man. Somebody go find out if John Daniels is okay. Somebody check the Fort Worth Metroplex area in Dallas and Fort Worth, because, brother, Lance Lynn being on the Texas Rangers is the akin to a Mona Lisa hanging up in a bathroom. What the hell are you doing holding on to that dude? Do you know what a playoff team would have given you for Lance Lynn? Did you see what the Padres gave up for Clevenger? Are you kidding me? Yeah, let's hold on to him. Like that. Yeah, that'll help us. You still suck. You're still in the same division as the Oakland A's, as the Astros. Oh, not to mention Seattle is not that bad. Texas. And then, wait a minute. This is the move they did make. You trade Mike Minor to the Oakland Athletics, who Mike Minor's been atrocious this year. ERA approaching 6. I get it. But watch. He's going to go to Oakland. Billy Bean's going to sprinkle some of that Oakland magic dust, and the guy's going to find something in the last 4 starts of his Oakland career. I'm telling you, John Daniels, for the love of God, the fact that Lance Lynn is wearing a Texas Rangers uniform, there needs to be an investigation into that, because that is a joke.
So you would say they're the losers of today.
Yes.
And the Padres are the winners, right? I mean, gotta be.
They're the winners of the weekend. You see what they did this week? They remade their whole team in a weekend. By the way, Austin Hedges was the other catch, though. The other catcher. Austin Hedges, they got 2 catches. Austin Hedges, Jason Castro from the Angels, and Austin Hedges from they traded Austin Hedges to the Indians. So you got 2 catches. You got Mike Clevenger, perhaps the best pitcher on the market, okay? The best thing pitching on the trade market. You got the best reliever in Trevor Rosenthal. Oh, and by the way, I'm like, are you kidding me? Yeah. Listen, AJ Preller, you deserve a medal. I know that carpal tunnel syndrome you got in the fingers must be real, because that guy was doing like this all weekend. But the San Diego I'm scared of the San Diego Padres. Because now we're talking about Clevenger, Chris Paddock. Yeah, it's a joke, and we haven't even seen the best of Mackenzie Gore yet. That's how true it is. Because my phone just fell. Are you kidding me? Yo, San Diego, yo, fam, y'all wildin'. AJ Preller wants all that smoke. Tell the Dodgers I said was gooch.
And you brought it up. Imagine Padre-Dodger playoff matchup. That'd be great for sure. If you're a baseball fan.
Yo, if I get a Dodgers-Padres play... Excuse me while I go cry in the corner for a minute. Are you kidding me? Fernando Tatis Jr. versus Corey Seager. Manny Machado versus Justin Turner. Friggin' Trent Grisham versus Mookie Betts. Oh, by the way, and the bullpens are both ridiculous. You know, I'm out. San Diego, you guys are making the playoffs for the first time since 2006. Enjoy it, because you might actually win the whole thing. You just might.
I don't think they're getting past the Dodgers, but...
All right, I think the Clevenger moves makes it a lot more interesting. Because now you got 3 starters with Clevenger, Paddock, and Mackenzie Gore. We going 3-on-3. It's 3 deep. Now, that Dodgers lineup is a joke, but I'm not sleeping on the Padre lineup either. Eric Cosmo, old man Eric Cosmo, almost 31. Manny Machado, Tatis Jr. Yeah, I'm not doing that. The Padres, they're looking space right now. And finally, everybody's like in New York is like panicking because the Yankees did nothing. And my answer is this. Good. I'm full of hot takes, baby. I'm full of the hot takes. No, but I'm glad that they did nothing. Because honestly,
what more do you guys need to do, though? You guys are loaded. It's like MLB The Show put a team together.
If they're all healthy, they don't have to do much. Would I have liked another bat and a bullpen arm for the short term? Yeah, but
if somebody was out for the year or something, then I could that.
But
stop complaining. Like we say, just
and look, you're getting guys back. Zach Britton's about to come off the DL. Your backup catcher's about to come off the DL. Glaber's like a couple of days away. Can we just relax? Can we just relax? Oh, by the way, we took 3 games in a row from a Met team that was riding high and was like, eh. And then, reality struck, and then the world's all good again. No, but
it's the story of being a Met fan. Like you get ecstatic, like probably, and it was like everyone on Twitter, radio. Oh my God, this could be one of the greatest days in Met history in the last 10 years.
It might be, especially if Cohen buys you guys. Then yeah,
but if the Mets don't make the playoffs, then
well, the Mets aren't making the playoffs. I can almost guarantee you that that ship is sailed. You're done. It's a revo, but. Steve Cohen, I think Steve Cohen was going to buy you guys because it's $4 billion in total. For those that don't know, not only is he bidding on the Mets, but he's bidding on SNY as well. So there's dinero in that, and he got plenty of it. His bid for the Mets is $2.7 billion, and his bid for SNY is $2.2 billion flat. So he's paying about $4.7 billion for SNY and the Mets in total.
That's a lot.
A lot. I know Big Dog's like, can you please? Can you please? Because I'm sick of these Wilpons. Can you help a brother out?
Although they were part of helping the Islanders get our arena, so they go with me.
No.
If they end up staying the Met owners, it is what it is.
Nah, most Met fans won't agree with you. I agree with that, AJ. Thank you. Very good. There you go.
Yeah. I said the same thing. If they were all healthy pitching wise, then I could see it maybe. But I wasn't going out on a limb saying they're making this year.
Eric. Well, I did. And they made me look like a fool, but
Listen, they ain't 2015, man. They don't have that magic, that spark.
2015 is never going to happen again. That's very rare that happens.
Speaking of, you want to get into this top five all-time trades at the deadline.
All right. What you got?
Well, Cespedes to the Mets, I had to put him on there.
Of course, Met boy.
Blue Jays getting David Price.
Wow, it's the same year they got Tulo.
Manny Ramirez to the Dodgers. Way back. Ricky Henderson to the
Manny. Wait. Do you have Manny Ramirez to the Dodgers on this list?
Yeah.
Wow. Go ahead.
Ricky Henderson to the A's.
Ooh, old school there. I like that.
And Dave Roberts to the Red Sox.
And 04, you mother. You were going good till you went there. You know what? All right, it's a baseball list there. You clown. Amari Cooper to the Cowboys.
What's your top five? Because I'm sure you could rattle them right off the top.
Wow. If you want to go modern history or modern memory, I'm going JD Martinez to the Red Sox. No, JD Martinez to the Arizona Diamondbacks in a blockbuster deal with the Tigers. I remember that because that involved like 11 players. Yeah, it was a zoo. I actually wrote a piece about it that night, which was fairly comprehensive and complex. My second one would probably be, and by the way, these are all ones that I've been fortunate enough to cover. My second one would probably be Justin Verlander to the Astros in 2017, because I remember it was like midnight. We thought they were finished, and then here you go. The trade was announced at 11:59:59. I remember that like it was yesterday. The Cespedes one is interesting, but it's not on my list.
Okay.
I'm gonna go Troy Tulowitzki to the Blue Jays. Because I remember the Rockies were saying, "Oh, we're not interested in trading him. This is not happening," because the Yankees had called and he wanted to be a Yankee. He wanted to be a shortstop after Jeter retired. So Tulo was trying to get himself to New York, and the Blue Jays stepped up, and it was like, "Nah, we're gonna make this happen." So they made it happen. That was three, right? My fourth one's gonna make Big Dog just want to but it was a couple years ago. I remember when the Yankees traded Andrew Miller, Carlos Beltran, and Aroldis Chapman in a span of like 3 days.
And just did a quick little 2-minute reboot of the computer, and
but the big one that kind of got me was I knew they were trading Beltran and I knew they were trading Chapman. But when they traded Andrew Miller, I said, okay, this is interesting, because Andrew Miller still had like 3 years left on his deal. He was still under club control and he was dominant. But I understood why they were doing it. And it made me go, okay, Cash sees the long view, where the Steinbrenners don't always see the long view. It's always about, we want to win this year. We don't want to blow it up. We don't want to rebuild. What Cash kind of was like, all right, hold up a second. Let me work my magic. Wait a minute. And you basically got back Clint Frazier, Justice Sheffield, Dylan Tate, all these guys you got back, and you turned
two of those trades into what we now know as Zach Britton and what we now know as James Paxton. So two of the guys that you acquired in those deals, you sent to two separate teams to get those two players. So that was my fourth one. I got one more, right? Oh, that was the last one. One more. Okay. My last one was there's a few. I got a list here. Gonna be here 90 years. But I'll say for my final one was a deal that didn't happen that I thought was going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Bryce Harper was almost traded to the Houston Astros in the 2017 season. And I remember getting ready to type out on Twitter, Bryce Harper has been traded to the Houston Astros, and then I was told, hold off on that, because ownership is like, kibosh, not doing that. But can you imagine Bryce Harper as an Astro? Ball. Wow.
That would have been
incredible.
It would have.
But what are your top five there? Oh, you gave us your top five. Okay. He gave us his top five. I'm surprised to see Ricky Henderson was on that list. That's.
They did win the World Series that year, so
right.
That ended up working out.
Guys, what is your guys' top five? Yeah, just to the Mets.
That was a great trade.
It wasn't deadline, but we'll let that one slide because we're in the middle of trade season. But Mikey Bumbato. Moving on from the baseball, because we covered all the deadline stuff, and I've been knee deep in it all day. I did mention at the beginning of the show. I'll mention it again for people that are just joining. Georgetown Hoya coach and basketball legend, the great John Thompson, passes away at 78. Just a big blow for basketball, a big blow for the Hoya program. Patrick Ewing, Alonzo Mourning, Allen Iverson all put their thoughts on social media of gratitude and appreciation. And Allen Iverson says this publicly and openly: John Thompson saved my life, and he allowed me to go to Georgetown and make money for my family to go to the NBA. So a lot of raw emotions out of the DC area. Feels like there's been too much of this, man. Too much of this. Too much of this in sports, too much of this in entertainment. Since the purposes of a sports show, Chadwick Boseman, who played Jackie Robinson in the movie 42, we also lost him on Friday night due to colon cancer. And for those who are WWE fans, we're coming up on a week where we lost the Road Dogg's father, Bullet Bob Armstrong, at the age of 88. So there's been way too much of this. 2020, you're a repugnant year, and you need to hurry up and end.
It just stinks.
Yes. I think we agree there. We agree. But moving on, man. I see you got some notes there. You got the pen in hand. What do you got for us, man? Where we going? You lead the ship.
We'll jump into the hockey. And then I know everybody is looking forward to the football. Although the division we're previewing, not the most competitive, but it's a little repug. But we're gonna get there.
You're being
nothing. Researching all the storylines, there's quite a few in the NFC East. But we'll get to that in a little bit. The NHL. Let's start with last night. Tonight, the Bruins are playing the Lightning, and the Avalanche are playing the Stars. Every series is 3-1. So Lightning lead 3-1. Dallas leads 3-1. The Islanders lead 3-1. and Vegas leads 3-1. So, which I don't know if haven't seen that before. It's been a while since you've seen every series at the same, number, 3-1, 3-1,
Right.
so on. We'll start with the Islanders.
Before you do that, I have a question.
Sure.
How much do you think the bubble's playing into the fact that when teams get down 2-1, they're like, we've been here for almost a month. We don't really want to be here anymore. If we lose 2 more, we get to go home early. Does the cup really matter anyway? Who wins it? Do you think that's playing in their minds at all? Now, they won't say it publicly, but when you see them on the ice, do you ever get the feeling, like they quit on this game?
I don't think with every team, but I do think some teams at some point, like they were just, we won out already. Like they were getting killed every game, or they were just not playing up to par. But you could clearly tell, like the Coyotes was one example where they literally flat out gave.
I'm like, I'm out.
That could be for some teams, but I don't think so. I think just the way majority of players wanted the playoffs set up this way. They went to Gary Bettman simply to say, listen, we want that integrity of the cup, of the playoffs. We want to battle through this to win and make it as legitimate as possible. Now, of course, you can, overthink it and go, and overanalyze, I should say, like, this could have played a factor because there's no fans and maybe a call could have went a certain way, or there's so many different things. But I think this year is legitimate just because of what's going on. And I think the teams are trying, but, again, if you lose a player, that's tough. But even then, like, for example, Tampa Bay and Boston. Boston lost in 5 games to Tampa a couple of years ago, and that was with fans and, no pandemic. So, but it's a legitimate question. But I think with hockey so far, it's been teams are actually trying to win, and
just because we hardly see teams go down 3-1. So in consecutive fashion like this, where there's multiple teams on the brink of elimination at one time.
Yeah, and I mean, there really hasn't been – I don't think there's been any Game 7s so far in the bubble. Series have ended. What's up, Zach?
What's up, man? How you doing, brother?
How you feeling about your Bruins tonight?
Are you surprised that the Sox? Are you surprised that the Sox didn't do more at the deadline to get rid of some pieces? Because I was. That's another thing. But yeah, I mean, this is interesting that hockey is in this weird space. I think that's an accurate description of how Red Sox Nation feels about their team right now.
Absolutely. But yeah, just all these series are 3-1. And we'll see, what happens tonight. Listen, by tomorrow, we could see, the final 4 teams. Gonna be interesting. But I'll start off Islanders Flyers series. Another big win for the Islanders. They haven't been this close to the conference final since 1993, which is quite a long time.
Look at this guy. You gotta start with his boys. Look at this.
Listen, it's big, man. This is big.
I guess no other show's starting with them, so he feels obligated to start with his own team.
Right. Yeah.
Go ahead.
The K show did get back to them later on in the show, but again, for like 5 minutes. I'm like, yeah, no, you gotta go. You gotta do it at least 20, 30-minute segment. Best team in New York right now. So
Whoa. He's up there, fanboy.
Just saying.
There's a team in the boogie down that if they get healthy, they're winning the whole goddamn thing. Just saying. He's up there a little bit. He's up. Just saying. Just ease up.
Getting a little defensive, huh?
A little bit. Just ease up a little bit.
All right, ease up with your Yankees, all right?
I gotta get at him a little bit. I gotta do it.
It's all in good fun. No, but take a look at this. Islanders point leaders this playoffs. Guess who it is?
Anthony Beauvillier.
He is 11. He has 11 points, but he's not leading.
Wait a minute. It's an Islander.
It is. These are all Islanders, so.
And his league.
No. So Barzal has 10 points, Nelson is 10, Beauvillier's 11, and 13 points. You'll never guess.
Bailey.
Yes, Josh Bailey with 13 points.
See, keep calling him a bum. It's working for you.
That's what I keep doing. He had 2 assists last night. That Beauvillier, Nelson, Bailey line is playing amazing, as I keep mentioning, because they just keep scoring. They keep assisting each other. They're just playing good all-around hockey. Barzal, too, is performing well. JG Pajot, too, with a goal last night. He played 13 games in this playoff, 7 goals and 2 assists, plus 13 rating with 28 shots. That's crazy. Wow. And Thomas Greiss, man, came up big last night. Actually, both teams went with the backups. Old man Brian Elliott, who could still goaltend. They were in Philly, put him in. Greiss for the Islanders. And Greiss practically kept us in that game because the times that we were playing sloppy and just bad, at times or for a lot of the second period, he showed up and performed well. But again, for the Flyers, I mean, and I know this sounds redundant. I mean, you got Voracek with 4 goals, Couturier with 2, Hayes with 3, so they're starting to step up, but none by your boy Giroux, none by Konechny. And even in general, those two, Konechny and Giroux, have not really stepped up all that much. And that's an issue. So it's...
Especially when you're relying on those guys to be a major part of your team and what you do. That's very... If I'm a Flyer fan, I'm a bit disconcerted by the whole idea that they're not showing up in big games.
And it seems to me the team in this series who scores the most wins. Like the Flyers, like if you want to keep up with the Islanders, you got to score 3 or more goals because the Islanders, even though we've been called boring, which I don't understand, but we've been
Wait. Somebody's actually called you guys boring. Can you elaborate more on that?
No, by specific hockey fans who don't love the defensive structure that Barry put in, and Lou, credit to him as well, because he did that with the Devils back in the day.
So I guess winning is boring then, because if it's boring, I'm loving it because we're winning. So I don't care.
That's exactly what Alan Hahn said this morning. Winning is fun. It's not boring. The style they're playing. Go ahead.
Do you think they say it's boring because it's a defensive struggle most of the games and it's not pretty?
Right. They sort of wait back for you to make a mistake. And the Flyers, too, when they're on, they seem to play that same way. And then the Islanders get in trouble. But then once the Flyers kind of deviate away from it and the Islanders go back to their game, then it's and they get right back into the swing of things. But, it's just a matter of who's playing the better defensive style at the time and who makes the mistakes. That's really been the series and who's been scoring.
So they're just waiting for the other team to make a mistake to be able to capitalize. That's smart.
100%.
That's smart. And for people that say that's boring, get over yourself. Get over yourself.
Exactly.
They're 1 win away from the conference finals. Obviously, what they're doing is not...
For the first time in 27 years, so they're clearly doing something right.
And this will be so New York Islanders-ish that you guys win the cup but can't celebrate it because of the pandemic. I'm like, yeah, this is the year that they'll win it. This is the year.
And again, I'm not looking even that far. I'm looking one game at a time. But like even for the conference finals, like what Nassau Coliseum should do, open up the parking lot, set up a huge projector screen. Yeah, don't shake your head. They should. They probably won't.
They're not there yet.
Have like a drive-in.
But then again, it's Nassau, so I'm not gonna say they're not gonna do it. But
man,
is it the smartest?
You really love to poop on my parade, so to speak. You just
I gotta.
You're no fun. Wow. Where are your Rangers, AJ? I'm just saying. But Stefan, these stats, because this you love Claude Giroux, you enjoy watching him play. In his last 26 playoff games,
I saw those numbers.
1 goal, 8 assists, -11 rating, and that's from the captain. That doesn't mean anything. So
I'm gonna just grab the popcorn and let you go at it.
Avalanche Stars. This I thought would be way more competitive. Turns out not so much. The Stars just completely are dismantling the Avalanche. I mean, the Avalanche, the last game, almost came back and won late, but scored way too late. It was a 5-4 game. Very, very high-scoring game. But Avalanche are just undisciplined in the series, and the Stars are just completely outplaying them.
When you say undisciplined, what do you mean?
No, committing bad penalties, things like that.
Turnovers,
right. Nazem Kadri not playing up to par like he was, but also the goaltending's a problem. Pavel Francouz in this series, the backup, because Grubauer got injured. His record's 2-4. Goals against is .323. That's horrific. .892 save percentage. So what? He won 4 Stanley Cups in a row, has been to 5 in a row. What, you guys won in the last, 60 years? Stop. And you went to 1 final and you got killed. So. But I got the Stars winning this series. I had them winning in 6. They're just no joke, I think. When was that? In the 80s. And so what? The last time you guys won before 94 was in 1940. And then you got lucky one time and won.
Woo!
Okay, and it's a different sport. I don't care about the Cowboys.
Wow. You Cosenza boys are really something, man.
And what have the Cowboys done? The Jets have won more playoff games than them since I've been alive. Cowboys haven't done anything. Oh my! All right, stop, AJ. The Vegas series, very intriguing. Marc-Andre Fleury being put in last night. That was interesting, although I kind of expected it because it was a back-to-back. I would have thought they went with Leonard again because Leonard is like the king of getting shutouts. I mean, the guy has been awesome. Although Fleury, I have to say, did play great yesterday. But taking a look at their records, 7-2 is Leonard, 3-0 Marc-Andre Fleury. So not that Fleury's been bad. I mean, listen, won every game, but goals against average. Leonard is 2.08. Fleury is 2.67. Save percentage. Leonard is 921. Fleury, 893. Leonard, 2 shutouts. I know, it's all in good fun. I hate the Rangers, though. Hate you guys.
Listen, I get it every year.
And no shutouts. So, but
he hates my teams too. I get it every year. Don't feel bad. Don't feel bad. You guys are elitists. This ain't right.
Yeah, it ain't right. To the last series, which actually started now, Tampa Bay and Boston. Zdeno Chara, UFA at the end of the year. Do you think he will be signed by somebody else, or do you think this is it?
Retiremento for Zdeno Chara.
I mean, he is the first ballot Hall of Famer. I don't think he has anything else to prove. I mean, if Lou wants to sign him, I'm all for it. But that probably won't happen. He has a Stanley Cup. He's been to 2 finals. Great defenseman, great leader. He's been the captain of the Bruins for all these years. I'm a little shocked at the Bruins, but listen, Tampa Bay's been playing great. That offense, I mean, Palat, 4 goals.
Would it shock you if I said Boston pushes this to a Game 7? Would it shock you?
Nah, not at all. With their experience and their pedigree, nah, I wouldn't be shocked.
So which series do you think are over, and which series do you think has a chance to get to a Game 7 if we get there?
I think Tampa Bay Boston could get to a Game 7. Vancouver Vegas, I think it's over. See, Colorado, I would feel better about, if they were playing better. I could see that maybe going to 6 games, like my prediction. And the Islanders, Flyers, I mean, I could see it being over or going to 6 games. I don't think it gets to 7. But that's just me. But, I mean, Palat with 4 goals, Braden Point, 2 goals, Nikita Kucherov with 2 goals, and then assists. Palat with 3, Point with 5, Kucherov with 6. So, they're getting production out of their top guys. Halak, some stats for round robin. Well, let's focus on this round. So, only 1 win, 366 goals against, and 891 save percentage. Awful. But the round before that, 3 wins, 167 goals against, and 932 save percentage.
But he didn't play all the games, and he had Tuukka playing in 2 of those games, right?
No, he had 3 wins. Tuukka had the 1.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Do you think them not having an experienced backup and them going to him a lot exposed him a little bit?
Yep. And in that one drubbing they took, I mean, you could clearly tell. And that guy, and then the discussions, I mean, we spoke about it a few days ago on our last show that, should, back to back, should they not go with Halak? Should they give him a rest and put this? You're really going to put in a guy with absolutely no experience over Halak? Stop it. But we'll find out what happens. Is it 0-0 right now in the Boston-Tampa game? And then after that is the Colorado-Dallas game. So we'll see what happens with that.
Okay, interesting.
Let's move on to football there. NFC East. Oh, one more question, and then we'll move on. My apologies, because I want to get your opinion and the viewers on this. and again, this is just an idea being thrown around, and we've discussed it, I think, off air, but the NHL is thinking about for next season, and again, we don't know what the world is going to bring, what will happen in terms of vaccine, etc., but regionalized bubbles in, each of the regions around the country. And also Canada, they're thinking of doing an all-Canadian division. So for a while, they're going to have all the 7 Canadian NHL teams play against each other, so they won't have to travel to the U.S., and then the U.S. teams won't have to travel to Canada. What do you think about that idea?
Interesting, but let me ask you this: How do we determine a club champion at the end of it? What are we doing for the playoffs? How are we making this work? Are we putting bubbles in Canada again? We got to work through some things, but I like the overall concept.
Me too.
But I want to see what the finished product looks like when it's all the way laid out, and we have a general idea of, okay, this is what it's going to look like. Because it sounds good on paper, but there's always some logistical issues that need to be worked through. So I'm very curious to see how they work on this from a logistical standpoint.
And I mean,
by the way,
go ahead.
By the way, credit to you, because you were the first one to bring this to me and go, "Hey man, what do you think of this?" And I said, "I like it. I don't know how they're gonna actually implement it and put it into place, because honestly, baseball play, sports players in general, but hockey and baseball players have this real stringent habit of, we do things at a certain time, we do things a certain way, and when we're not able to do those things, it kind of changes who we are and what we are as a team. So do you think, my question to you and my retort to you would be, do you think this changes the routines at all? Do you think this makes players a little bit more apprehensive in terms of, okay, my routine is going to have to change, how I feel about, travel and all this stuff? Everything's going to have to change for us. Do you think, does that play a part at all in your mind?
It will, yeah, and they have to, again, like you said, figure out, okay, which regions are we having, which cities are we having it in, what teams are going to be in that region. Although for me, off the top of my head, I could think of a few already, but then again, they're going to have to really sit down and work this out. And then even all the Canadian I like the idea and the concept just because of the rivalry aspect, and you're going to get these teams playing each other multiple times, which is great. But again, once playoff time, over a certain period of time, are you then going to ease into a more regular based schedule? Are you going to branch out and play teams in the center of the country or the west of the country, or, you know what I'm saying, in a different region? Or are you going to, how long are you going to keep the regional bubble, so to speak? How long is the Canadian bubble going to last? What happens?
I mean, I guess as long as the coronavirus lasts, I think you got to approach it the same way. I think the NBA is doing the same thing, where it's we're going to have 3 or 4 bubble cities and not just one, where we're going to put teams and regions and make sure we have 3 or 4 arenas set up as just one campus in Orlando, which is a good idea. But I think the NBA is thinking about branching out and doing some other stuff depending on what happens with the virus, especially in the wintertime. I think that plays a part in it as well. What do you guys think about this? The viewers, what do you guys think about a bubble concept? Listen, baseball's doing it with the playoffs. We see what they're going to do for the playoffs in the World Series. Dodger Stadium, Petco Park, Angel Stadium. They're all being discussed. I think they're going to stay strictly out west where it's warm weather. I think that's all these sports going into a bubble concept is interesting, which is why I want to see what happens when the NFL gets to the playoffs. Does the NFL say, we had too many COVID test positive, we're in the playoffs now, get to the playoffs and let's figure out, do we have a bubble here? Do we do the bubble in the postseason? This is the thing that I'm kind of interested in.
Right.
So It's a very interesting, discussion that needs to be had by all parties in sports. I feel like because this is the way of our new normal now. This is the way we're gonna do things now. So I want to see what the communication is like with both sides, how they're able to come together and say, okay, let's figure this out and let's do this. So
definitely.
Yeah.
But we'll see. The concept is interesting if you love rivalries and the same teams playing each other a bunch of times. So we'll find out. But the NFC East is our division for today. The look on your face.
Is it fair to say this is the most crappy division of football? Is that fair?
Arguably, yeah. One of, yeah.
All right. Who you got?
I got Cowboys winning the division at 11-5. I got the Eagles going 8-8. Giants 5-11, and Washington football team at 3-13.
You got the Giants winning 5 games?
I do, yeah.
Mm-hmm. You see that defense? Do you see the defense with the Giants? If they win 3 games, it's gonna start. If they win 3 games, it's gonna start snowing in August. It's snowing, blizzard-like condition. I'm going with Cowboys, Eagles, Redskins, Giants.
Okay, so Giants last. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean that's because there's no real competition. Yeah, there's no who you playing?
Except the Eagles, but even them didn't.
Listen, Carson Wentz is a walking injury, still on the football field.
Like, Cowboys are just going to win it by default. I mean.
My point exactly.
But a lot of. Go ahead.
You said we had some storylines. What storylines you got for us? Because this is the storyline guy.
A lot, but it's. I mean, will Haskins and Jones have better seasons or not than last year?
Well, I think Daniel Jones will because I see him more as a pure quarterback. With Dwayne Haskins, you got to kind of work through it. I agree with you.
Young was big.
Chase Young, yeah.
Last year, Jones started 12 games and Haskins started 7 games. So Jones has more experience, but only by a few games. Go ahead.
This is the thing. Daniel Jones is your prototypical NFL quarterback. With Dwayne Haskins, I want to see him stay on the football field and stay healthy. Because if he's not, the way he plays football, he's going to get hurt. It necessitates that. Because he's going to run around. He's going to try to get away from the quarterback, evade the defense. He's a run-first quarterback. So that's why if you ask the question, who's going to have a better season, I think it's going to be Daniel Jones because he's going to stay on the football field better. Not so much that he's going to have better talent because I think the talent on both offenses are pretty equal. They're both bad. But I think, taking the chance of –
I think Danny Dimes, too, is going to be – it's going to be a great QB. I think Dwayne Haskins can be, too.
Not in the modern NFL. Because Mahomes, let's use Mahomes as an example. He runs, but he also makes great accurate throws. He stays in the pocket when he has to. He's going to get hurt as well because that's how he plays. But I don't see Haskins having the type of arm that necessitates me going, okay, he's going to be the dual threat. I don't see that. But that's just me, which is why I'm having issues seeing Dwayne Haskins having a decent season compared to Daniel Jones. But come on, I keep going. I cut you off. I apologize.
Oh, good. Will Prescott earn the big money? I think he could by another team if he balls out this year.
AJ, let me ask you a question as a Cowboy fan. Can you explain to me what the hell Jerry Jones is rating for to write this check? Can you explain this? Can you explain this? I'm not saying he's worth $45 million a year. I think that's a little much. But if you get him down to about 35, 40, write the check. Stop playing Jerry Jones. Stop playing. Unless he just wants out of Dallas, which is also feasible too.
It's possible. Joe Judge, what will his impact be on the New York Giants? Because I don't think it's going to be great. I think the Giants do have a bright future, but the hiring of Joe Judge, I think, was not a great hire.
You think Saquon and Sterling Shepard and all these dudes that have been there are going to look at this dude and go, who? You making us run laps and you won how many rings? Oh, none? All right. Bet. Dak was one in against. Well, then your whole team needs to be cut and fired and let go. Because nobody plays good against big teams in Dallas. Come on, man. Come on. Maybe that's the problem. Maybe you overhype your guys, and then when they want their money, now we want to be cheap and frugal. I'm just saying. I'm not trying to start nothing. I'm just saying. When's the last time the Dallas Cowboys won a big game in general as a team? Don't leave it all on the quarterback. It's a team. I didn't see Dak playing defense. But we gave Zeke all that money when he was a running back in the league. All right, fine. I'll play along. That's just my opinion, though.
And he's going to play the year under the franchise tag. It's a $31.4 million franchise tag he's going to play under.
And think about that. You're starting him at 31.4 with the franchise tag. You're starting him at 31.4, which means you're getting no lower than 35, 36 million when he hits the market.
Mike McCarthy, new head coach, which should have been the Jet head coach, but we're not getting into that.
Here we go.
That's going to be really interesting. And now the whole Aaron Rodgers, will he leave dynamic after this year, and then will Dak be out? And then Rodgers could maybe come into Dallas next year.
But the way things ended with McCarthy, I don't see Aaron Rodgers doing that.
Rodgers may not go there.
Yeah, which is why I'm like,
on a team like Dallas, just the spotlight on him. He loves the attention, and he's got that kind of ego.
I mean, we'll see. I think it's
wow.
Why were you gonna? All right, so this is the problem with that logic. You ready for this? So if you know you're gonna trade him at some point this season, why didn't you do it at the draft? Why wait till mid-season and trade a quarterback? Big Dog, you understand what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
you're gonna do it mid-season? Okay, I'll play along. Like, if you know you're not bringing him back, play him under the franchise tag 1 year and let him go. Let him go. We got money in Cleveland here for him. We'll take him in the dog pound real quick, a heartbeat. Give me Dak Prescott. I drive him to the airport my damn self. We'll find the Cleveland airport. Come on, Dak. Come on. Because that's all the Browns need is a quarterback.
Yeah.
But, I mean, all right, let me ask you a question about this division, Big Dog.
Okay.
If, let's say, for instance, Carson Wentz is healthy, right? And I know that's a huge risk because we haven't seen it much since he's been in the NFL. But if he's healthy, where do you put his talent level along with Dak Prescott? Like, near Dak Prescott? Is he a better quarterback than Dak Prescott? equal to Dak Prescott? Where is he?
I think he's along the same plane of Dak Prescott. But I think he gets way too overhyped a lot. I mean, he did have that one great year before he got hurt, but I don't think he's as good as people make him out to be, in my opinion.
Is that just the case that you have to see more, or you already made your final judgment on what type of quarterback he's going to be?
I don't know. I made a final decision in my mind. Again, is there always room for improvement because he is still a young guy? There definitely is. And I really love Dak, although a lot of people think he's so overrated. I don't know. I would take him, like you said, with the Browns, if they were in a position of when you take them. If the Jets were in a position, I would certainly take Dak Prescott. We have Sam, but I'm saying if we didn't have a quarterback.
See, but can I tell you what's wrong with that? That's why Sam Darnold will never be successful. Not that I'm blaming you for it, but you know how many Jet fans have said, "Yo, I'll trade Sam Darnold for a better QB." Like, he was supposed to be your franchise quarterback. Now you want to trade him?
I'm not trading him now, or
I mean, that kind of seems a little bit quick on the trigger, though. Wentz is a better quarterback than Dak? You know what? I agree with you. Anything that puts the Cowboys down, I'm good with. Right. So I'm good with that. So we both have the Cowboys winning the NFC.
Yep.
Anything else you want to get into before we move on? By the way, Logan Ryan, safety, signed with the Giants, 1 year, $7.5 million from New Jersey, so came back home. I don't know how much of an impact that has on the Giants because the secondary is still going to be atrocious.
One more thing with the Eagles, them drafting Jalen Hurts, another QB, does that kind of send a signal to Wentz like?
I mean, maybe.
Could we say QB drama in Philadelphia?
No. Not yet. Not yet. Because we don't even know what Jalen Hurts is as an NFL quarterback. We know what Carson Wentz is.
But if Hurts performs well.
You smoking that. Nah. He said, I take Sam. Nah.
We haven't seen Sam without weapons, I'm just saying.
That's what I'm saying. So we see that.
Man, if you put nothing on, you put Donald with that Cowboy offense, oh my God.
Maybe. But it's the Cowboys, so it's going to go miserably anyway.
Always possible. And I love saying.
Oh, man. It doesn't sound like it for me. You want to drive him to the airport for a little bit of Dak love. He's like, come on. I'll take you to Teterboro Airport. I said, gotta go. Gotta go. All right. So we got. Here's the interesting thing about this, and then we're gonna get into the NBA briefly because I just want to say this. Drive him to Dallas. You want him? We'll take Dak in Cleveland. I ain't got no problem with that. So here's another question that I have for you, Big Dog.
Mm-hmm.
And it's regarding the Redskins.
Okay.
As good as Chase Young is going to be, and we know how good Landon Collins is, and we understand this. I just got the feeling that the Redskins are going to be bad no matter what happens because I don't know if Dwayne Haskins is the guy. And then how much are you getting from Alex Smith from a football standpoint when he hasn't been on the football field in almost 2 years.
That's the other thing. Do you start him? Do you take a chance with, God forbid, him getting, he could have lost his leg with that injury he had. Thank God
Right.
he's okay. But him trying to come back, I don't know if that's such a great idea on his part.
That's a bit of a gamble. Absolutely right. It's a bit of a gamble. And here's the thing. Let's say this is why I would have said, if I'm them, I understand the allure of taking Chase Young, but if I'm the Redskins, I would have drafted a quarterback because I don't know if Dwayne Haskins is the guy. Now, is Dwayne Haskins liable to make me look foolish? Sure. But I think Chase Young is a guy that you draft when you know you're close, you're on the come up, like you have the quarterback already, like you have everything you need. Then that's the guy you draft to put the finishing touches on your team. Like for me, I would have drafted Chase Young with the Giants because you got Dak, you got you got Daniel Jones, you got Sterling Shepard, you have weapons a little bit. Your weapons are a little bit more defined. So that's the guy. That's when you take Chase Young to improve your defense. You understand what I'm saying? Where Chase Young in Washington doesn't make sense because does it really improve anything they have going on outside of the fact that that's a really good defensive player when you don't know what you have at the quarterback or wide receiver or running back positions?
Exactly.
What do you think about that? I think Alex Smith is going to mentor Haskins this year, which should help.
Too.
That's a good point. I'm just not a fan of Dwayne Haskins' style as a quarterback. I think we've seen it with Michael Vick. We've seen it with a lot of guys that run first, which is why I love Lamar Jackson. But I'm not a fan of his style of play because his first inclination is always to run with the football. Instead of looking out the first or the second or maybe the third read and say, okay, I'm going to go here. You know what I'm saying? Where it's always, okay, what are we doing? Where can I run to if my first option breaks down? It seems like he's always run happy to me. And viewers, you could tell me if I'm wrong, but I just get that run first vibe with him. You got anything else football wise before we move on to the NBA really quickly?
No, I think that's it.
All right. So touching on the NBA really quickly, James's Lakers closed out my Trailblazers. They put the beats on the Lakers in this series, and that's because I think Anthony Davis got healthy. But just to be fair, the Lakers did what they had to do. They won the series that they had to win. I'm excited, man. Denver, Utah going to 7 games.
Wow.
Jamal Murray, 42 the other night, 50 last night, pushed it to a game 7. I get another round of him and Donovan Mitchell. I know AJ got to be going crazy with Jamal Murray putting the 50 piece on Utah last night. I don't know if he's top 5. He's a shooting guard. He's not actually a point guard, but I don't know if he's top 5. But if you're Denver, you got to be really excited to be in a game 7 with all the marvels, man. And I like, believe it or not, I like Denver's front court a little bit better than I like Utah's. Like, I think Nikola, the Joker, Nurkic, that kid is something else. I think Denver has the pieces that they edge out the Jazz in this series. And I think Jamal Murray has another awesome game. By the way, if you didn't see Jamal Murray's post-game press conference last night, do yourself a favor and go watch that thing. I'm getting emotional right now and I'm getting chills just thinking about it. It was epic. Every other series in the West is decided other than this game 7. The Clippers took care of Dallas in 6, although Luka was magic-like as always. Here's an interesting question though, Big Dog. And I've been thinking about it, and people have been asking me the question, and I don't know how to answer this question. So I'll pose it like this. Nuggets are going to take Game 7. Can't sleep on Gary Harris coming back. I'm not sleeping on Gary Harris. I'm not at all. But I have a very interesting question for you, big dog.
Okay.
And you're probably going to be like, But remember the conniption fit that Knicks fans threw after trading Kristaps? How can you trade Kristaps?
Yeah.
How can you do this? Kristaps Porzingis missed the final 10 games of the regular season with knee soreness. And then he missed the final 3 games of the postseason with a torn meniscus in his right knee. And I know this seems a bit premature, but for what we've seen so far, Kristaps Porzingis has not been able to stay healthy. So my question is, do you think the Knicks dodged a bullet? I know you hate losing a talent like that, but if you know he's not going to be able to stay on the court, and you got to pay him all this, like you remember, Dallas gave him $158 million over 5 years. Like they locked him up. So if you're the Knicks, do you kind of feel like you dodged the bullet? And I know people are going to say, "Oh, it's the Knicks, so they would have ruined it anyway." And I agree with them because I'm a scarred Knicks fan myself, like you with the Jets and the Mets. But do you ever think about, damn, you know what? They might have dodged the bullet there. They just might have. With everything I just laid out to you, with his injury history and everything that we've seen from Kristaps Porzingis not being able to stay on the floor, is it fair to say that they might have dodged a 7'3" bullet with his injury history?
They very well could have, yeah.
Because I look at this and I see Carson Wentz, great skills. And you look at it and you go, but damn, you're always hurt. Can you stay on the court? Pretty please? Pretty please? Can you pretty please stay on the court? I already gave you your props, bro. I just said that you said they were going to.
Told me he wants the phone call from you direct. So whenever you get around to that, Steph, and he wants that phone call officially.
All right. So we're gonna do this now,
or after the show.
No, we're gonna do it live on the air.
All right.
So people can see me apologize. Pick up your phone there, Laker boy. Your number's in here somewhere. Hold on a minute. Hold on a minute. Calling you now, Laker boy. His number's in here somewhere. I know that. Well, Big Dog, if you just want to send it to me again, because I don't see it, but I'm going to call you. Don't worry about it. Thank you. See, James, since I'm a man of my word, this is what we're going to do. We're going to call you, and we're going to put it on speaker. Can you hear it ringing?
Yes.
Listen, man. You're on the air right now. I'm doing this on the live stream in front of the entire world.
Okay.
You got that right. You got that right.
Thank you.
I give it to you, and I said I was going to call you once you guys got the W, and I was going to do it live on the air for public consumption. So there you go.
Well, no, it just like I feel like with LeBron, you don't expect so much from him. Even though he's 35, I understand that, but I'm just saying, don't bet against the guy.
Well, I'm going to keep getting against him because I don't like him. I don't like him as a basketball player, as a humanitarian, as a human being. I think he's beautiful.
Yeah.
If I was to get married, I would want my sons to go seek counsel from him because he's a saint. But as a basketball player, he leaves something to be desired. He ain't Mike. He ain't Kobe. He ain't Shaq. He ain't great. He's all right.
He's his own player. Okay.
He's all right.
But I thank you for the call and everything. I just wanted to hear from you.
Listen. First of all, when I say I'm going to be loyal, I'm going to do what I say I'm going to do. Just notice, I'm going to do what I say I'm going to do. But anyway, brother, we got to have you back on at some point, man. But me and Big Dog will talk to you about that. But thank you for picking up my phone call, Big James. And we'll talk again soon, brother.
Later, James. It's official.
So if you make a bet with me on this show and I lose, you might get a call from me. So maybe you should bet me, man. Real quick, I gotta say this. I think Houston, Oklahoma City going 7 games. I love Oklahoma City's toughness. Real quick, and I just have to say this. I'm picking the Toronto Raptors. I'm sticking with my pick. But Boston beat the living tar out of the Raptors yesterday. 112-94. It was I'm like, ball. No defense was played in this game at all. So I'm taking Boston. I'm taking Toronto in 7. I think Milwaukee beats Miami in 6. And as far as this Clippers Utah Denver series goes, I think the Clippers win in 5. I think the Clippers ain't playing no games because they see LeBron just waiting on the other side going, yeah, keep playing your time. Take your time. Yeah, good. Keep farting around, as we like to say. Yeah, good. Sure, good. But all right, man, what do you before we, obviously move on. Well, we're moving on, but I'm curious to know, because I have to ask, what do you think about soccer doing a bubble format like internationally? Do you think they could do that based on regions? Like, let's say you put a bubble format based on the regions and the different leagues. Would that work?
Now, in terms of the European leagues, individually, I will say this. I do think that it's worked. Now, there hasn't been, as far as I know, there were no positive tests in any of the major leagues when they came back. So I think, and you know what it is with those countries, they're so much smaller than us or Canada. So I think they can afford to, say, travel, short distance or, driving distance. Right. But in terms of, I say, Champions League, the Euros, now Euro 2020 or the Euro Cup was supposed to be held in like 12 different cities next year across the continent.
Really?
Yes, which has never happened before. Now, before this, I thought that was an amazing concept. Like, if, for fans, like, following their team around, like, going from city to city, I was like, wow, that's dope. That's, like, a super cool idea. But now, and I've, been following, because I, was following, of course, what's going on here at home, but also what's going on in Europe. And France now is seeing a rise in cases and a couple of other European nations. So I think they got to be really careful, meaning UEFA. And I think starting now, because they're, a year away or a little less than a year away, because it's not till June 2021, but they should think about that, using only certain cities or just picking, as they normally would, like one country to host it.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Instead of traveling to multiple, I think that would be way better than traveling all across Europe. I know it was, of course, for them a money-making idea. I think in general for the fans it was cool, but you really got to look at it. And then now the Champions League, that's fascinating. You only hold it in different cities. Like, it's going to be, I think the bubble concept for those two, they should look at. But in terms of the leagues, I don't think they have to because it was successful coming back this year in May and June. So that's my opinion on it. What do you see with it? I know you don't follow soccer much, but
I mean, with the rise in the COVID cases, it may not be too good of an idea now. But I think it's something that if this continues to fester and we have to come up with alternatives, I think it's something you should be able to lay out and format and say we're going to do it this way and see how this plays out long term moving forward.
Right.
Because you have to respect this virus, how deadly this thing is and how much damage it can do and has done already. So sports has to walk this tightrope of, yes, we want to entertain you, but we don't want to put any of our players or patrons or fans at risk.
Right.
Which is why I think a bubble concept in all sports should be something that's applied.
But I feel over there, I think they will start to let, and I'm not, again, getting political at all. But in terms of, in general, just the science, it seems like they did get a much better handle on it than we did here. So I feel like maybe by 2021 they'll stick with the original format, and who knows, maybe fans will be allowed in stadiums or a certain number. I don't think that's too out of the realm of possibility. But again, it really all depends. Again, we could see a rise like all over again. Hopefully not, but we'll see. One more thing too. For the first time in 10 months, the national teams are going to be playing again. So the UEFA Nations League is back this weekend, and at least they're going to be putting some great games actually on TV. Although some of these matchups are on ESPN Plus. Like Germany versus Spain, they got put in the same group. Italy versus Bosnia on ESPN News, and then 2 games on ABC. Iceland, England, and Portugal, Croatia, which I thought were 2 horrific games to put on like a national spotlight. So
yeah, we know you only want the good games.
Real quick, anytime soccer gets promoted like that on a big network, I don't care what team it is. That's awesome. Doesn't matter what team.
Interesting. I want to read some of the poll results because we did some polls. So I want to read the results of who won these polls. Okay, so the Indians won the which team at the trade deadline 4 p.m. Which teams could make the biggest impact, and the Indians won that by 37% to 26% over the Rangers. The Rangers were 26%, the Brewers were 21%, and the Dodgers were a measly 16% with 19 votes casted on Twitter. By the way, if you're not following us on Twitter, it's at Nick and Steph Show SH1 on Twitter. The hockey poll, every NHL series is at 3-1 at the moment. Will they all end in 5? And one answer we got was no. So you received 1 vote on that poll. And one I think Alan voted on this poll because it says who will win the NFC East, and Alan put Washington. So Alan fanboyed out there a little bit.
All good. I love when people fanboy or fangirl out.
All good.
You do it more, but you try and hide it too much. You gotta let it out, man.
Hey, man. Oh, real quick, because Shefty brought this up, and I wanted to ask you about it. What do you think about Big Zach?
Oh, wow.
Really?
That's pretty cool.
I have ESPN Plus. I actually might tune in and watch that photo. Thank you for letting us know, Big Zach. So I want to start reading the polls more for you guys and giving you guys a chance to, interact with us more on the air. I know, Big Dog, you received some results on some of the posts you put up on Facebook. So thank you guys for interacting with us. We love the interaction, and we'll interact back more. Tomorrow, you want to let them know about tomorrow, or should we save that as a surprise?
I think we could tell them now, or do you want to save it for... All right, we'll surprise him. It seems like you want
to...
surprise us, Coach. We'll surprise him. Because we're doing a show, but it's going to be a completely different kind of show. It's going to be sports-oriented, but not the way we normally do it. But you'll find out.
And listen, we're going to post a ton of stuff, questions, polls.
Based on the topic, so
yes, follow the show pages. We're actually going to start promoting this tonight.
I'm super excited for this. I did all my preparation. I got everything jotted down. I'm ready.
Look at this guy, man. Look at him.
I'm all set.
Look at him. That's amazing. Anyway, that'll wrap us up for tonight. Thank you guys for watching. This is amazing.
Thank you.
I had a great time. Big Dog was a little late to the party, but he arrived.
I had a good time.
Always do, man. And we'll see you guys tomorrow.
Later.
Good night.